All right, good morning, you math maniacs out there. Today, we are going to be modeling a unit fraction divided by another unit fraction. And as this can get pretty complicated, I think I've found a process that's a little more simplified for you that'll still use a visual model. Our first step, I have our 5 in the upper right. The first one we're going to start with is to model and partition the first fraction. And in this case, we're looking at 1/4. So, as we've done in the past, I model this thing into fourths, which means I need to make 3 vertical lines. I have to shade in one of these fourths as best as I can. Okay. Next, what I need to do is in my second step, that's my first one done. Second one, I need to divide this model that I just created by the second. So in this case, I need to divide it into halves. Just like we did earlier in Unit 5 and earlier in Unit 6, I partitioned it vertically in the beginning. This time I'm going to partition it horizontally like that, as straight as I can. Okay, that's step 2. And since we're using unit fractions, we don't need to shade or anything here. Step 3 asks us how many of the new pieces that this model that we created are shaded. And that is going to be this piece and that piece. This new number is going to become our numerator. So I have 2 shaded, and then we go back to step number 4. My denominator is the same as it was in my first original fraction that we started with. So I started in fourths, and I'm staying in fourths. And all of you know, as in step 5 asks, can you rename it to a mixed number or reduce it? And you guys know we can reduce 2/4 to 1/2. And that is your quotient. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try and minimize my screen and show you. And I'm going to take another fraction that is not a unit fraction, just to show you that it can be done. I'm going to take 2/3 and I'm going to divide it by 1/5. And I'm going to draw as best as I can, but I'm going to cheat and I'm going to use this nice big old tool that lets me make rectangles. I'm going to start by modeling in the beginning, like it says. I'm going to model my first fraction. So 2/3 is going to go vertically. So I only have to make 2 partition lines. There we go. This time I'll use red. Shade. I'm going to undo that. We'll try red a different way. There is 1/3. And there is 2/3. Nothing new. We've been doing that since the beginning of Unit 5. My second step says to divide that model by the second fraction. And in this case, I have fifths. So I'm going to have to really draw 4 careful partition lines as evenly as I can. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, the last one's not very good. 4. And then what I need to do, my step 3 says, how many of this, after my new partition lines are made, how many of the sections are shaded? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this 5 down here I didn't shade very well. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I have 10 shaded. And I know it's getting pretty small to read up there, but my fourth step says that my denominator is going to be where we originally started. So I'm going to have, working, since I have 3 sections in there, and my sections are 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 that we originally started with, and of those thirds, I have 10 of them shaded after I divided it into fifths. So my denominator stays the same. Number 5 is always the fun one to see if you can challenge yourself to rename or reduce. And in this case, you guys know that I can take 3 and I can pull out 3 groups of 3/3, and that would be 9. and I can subtract that, and that's going to give me 1 left over, and I'm still working in thirds since I have been in the beginning. And that is my quotient to a unit, or to 2/3 divided by the unit fraction 1/5. Thank you, all of you math maniacs out there, for watching. I hope this video helps you to understand this concept a little bit better.